Hello, 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 hello. This is Dr. Nicole Bossard, the DJ Doc. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you actually are having a challenge hearing me because I've got some music piped in. As you all know, I have been fighting the gremlins here around getting my sound system together, but we'll keep working on that. Listen, I just wanted to keep the momentum going. Pop in here today. I don't have a guest with me today. It's just you and me. It's just me and you and me in the studio. Listen, I wanted to do with you just a quick recap. And I also wanted to take a few minutes just to invite folks into the space. We are normally here starting right at noon on Fridays here at the Practicing Positivity Studio. And as you can see, what this place is all about and who I am and my purpose for creating this studio is not, this isn't really a sound studio, even with the DJ Doc monitor. That's just frankly because I love music and I love bringing music into these interactive conversations as a way to just kind of lift our energy and lift our spirits. But the studio, what that really means, I want you to be in mind of an artist studio or a creator's studio. And what we create here in this place, we create these, we really help you create a life that is built on exactly what you see in that lower third, a lifelong practice of nurturing the life-giving forces in and around us. So what I'm always bringing into the studio is a guest with me or an idea or a book or something I've read or something I've done or something I've heard. And then we come into this studio and it's an opportunity for you to start to build something, to reinforce something, to create something new for yourself. In the studio, you're the artist, but you're also the clay or the material or whatever your medium would be. You're that. So we're bringing in these ideas as resources and tools. And here's the goal. It's to discover, to uncover, or for maybe to pull back in those things that give you life, that give you vitality, that give you a sense of energy and zest, so that as you are going about living this life, the practice of positivity is not, this is not the stuff of cotton candy and fluff, right? Kind of warm and fuzzies that don't really sustain you or don't really support you for the long term. The practice of positivity is really intended for us to be, this is a way of life. And I want you to have these tools and I want to be practicing these tools and utilizing these resources and be in these conversations around positivity. Why? Because I'm constantly looking at, you know what? Where your focus goes, hey, your energy is going to follow. And what you focus on will grow. So that doesn't mean that practicing positivity doesn't mean that you turn a blind eye to those things that are difficult, challenging, or perhaps even tragic in your own life. We're not talking about ignoring, but what we are talking about is how do I access the best parts of myself so that when life throws me these unrelenting 155 mile an hour curveballs, that I am able to swing at my hardest. I am able to kind of keep pace with what's happening, dodge the things that I need to dodge. I know how to sidestep. I know how to adapt. I know how to be nimble. I know how to be agile because I have that ability. I have access to it. And how many of you know when we are highly stressed and chronically so, we're locked into a survival mode, a fight, flight, freeze, a narrowed focus where we literally don't have access to all of that high level, quick, fast thinking that lets us think beyond into the future and create something for ourselves that we really want. So that's why I am excited about this studio. And that's why I wanted just to pop in and just to say, no guest this week. I want to encourage you, go to the YouTube channel, check out the videos. Oh, the places we have been. We started off in April with one of my sheroes of appreciative inquiry, Dr. Diana Whitney, talking about her book, Thriving Women and Thriving World, and the power of a positive question to be able to shift out of that fight, flight, freeze mode, or out of that, what some folks will call, or brain researchers, an amygdala hijack, be able to get in authentic connection and having and generating a sense of psychological safety, and then being able to access that true power of our imagination all through the questions that we ask. And that book lays out a series of questions that we can use that allow us to go on that track that I just described. Then we had my friend, my soror, and my sister, Charmaine Flanagan, come in and talk about love as a strategy for life, love as an ethic and a guiding principle in everything we do, not just in our romantic life, yes, there too, but how is it that we nurture a life of love that is embodied and expressed across every domain in life, at work, at home, in our relationships, all of them, and even in the things, the causes that we choose. How can we let love lead? What's the process for that? And then, of course, then we shifted into high gear in May. Y'all know what we did. We brought in Jesse Harless, who was talking about, listen, if not you, then who? Making the shift. And listen, this is the correct title: harnessing your strengths to make the shift from addiction to abundance. Right? Jesse laid out his fears toolkit, a process for us to be able to enter that whole journey of recovery, recognizing that recovery is for everyone, not just the person that you quote think, or those people on the street, or those drug addicts. No, 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 no. Addiction is something that touches us, or trauma is something that touches so very many of us. And I believe all of us, or I agree with Jesse, all of us are recovering from something, especially given what we're living through now. And so he laid out some steps for us to actually do that. How do we put ourselves on a perpetual path of our own well-being? And then we brought Baba Kevin Green in, who started talking about, okay, now that you have put yourself on a path of recovery and you're reclaiming your space, how do you generate the energy and the vitality needed? What are the practices, those deeply internal practices that will help you ground, root yourself, and get settled into putting yourself at the center so that you can indeed reclaim your life on your terms? So, right, May just gave such a solid and strong foundation. Then we shifted course and started talking about leadership throughout the month of June. And my brother from another mother, Larry McAvoy, Dr. Larry McAvoy, and his work on epidemic leadership. Let's take a look at what this pandemic and its rapid spread can teach us about leading infectiously and leading in an era of big problems in a way that allows the folks that we are leading, as well as ourselves, to be able to innovate rapidly, right? To be able to learn rapidly and be able to make the kinds of connections and information exchanges that can create transformative results in the midst of the mayhem and uncertainty. Then after we kind of started getting into that whole epidemic leadership ideal and what's required to kind of start engineering those collisions and interactions and exchanges of information and data that allow us to have really powerful conversations where we can build something for the future. I had Javier Jarena from Reinvent Coaching come in, and he started laying down, now, if you were going to practice the kind of leadership, the foundational skills embedded in epidemic leadership, leading infectiously, what are some of the key pieces? And we're going back to where we started. What can appreciative inquiry provide for us that will help us lead, whether you are leading yourself, you are leading your family, you are leading in your community, or you are leading a cast of hundreds and thousands in a company or a multinational corporation? That these same strategies are going to be essential for you to be able to lead in a way that brings not just the best out in people, but allows those interactions and intersections to actually be productive and purposeful. And then we concluded with a master class. Javier came back, brought his brother man with him, Felix Valoria, and we actually did an interactive master class on what are some of those practices, what are the concepts, what do you need to have in your toolkit, and what are one or two things you can put in place right now so that you can start to cultivate your own leadership, positive leadership capacity. So that's where we've been. So as we're kind of, as I'm preparing and going through the rest of this month of July and bringing in some more great conversation and some great building blocks for you to build with and build on, take some time, go onto that YouTube channel, check out those videos. They are there for you. That information is there. Again, as we said, we're looking to build our capacity. And as Javier and Felix shared with us last week, look, what are the things that we need to lead and to live beyond the pandemic? Going back to normal is really not an option. So I've put these pieces together for you inside of the studio so that as you start looking at what is this new world that's unfolding around me, what's the new thing that I want to create to keep pace with this new world? Because it's simply not going to be good enough to go and just do the old thing, the status quo, and dress it up in some new drag and think that's going to carry the day. I just don't believe that. And that's why I'm not bringing folks in to tell you, listen, just keep doing the things that we've always done. And that's what's going to work. That's what's going to get us through this. There are some of those things that we can build on that will help us move forward. But I tell you, if we're looking through this appreciative lens, at least we're able to clearly identify what are the strengths we can build on. What are the aspirations that we need to stretch for that are worth us stretching for? And where do we see the opportunities for us to do the next thing in a new way that can create transformative results for ourselves and for those that we love and for those that we lead? So come on in here. This is a place for listening. This is a place for learning. Come in here. Leave us some comments in the chat. Let me know what you'd like to see more of. Let me know information or kind of new approaches that you'd love us to begin to work with here in the studio. Let me know if you are a listener and you'd like to be a guest here. You've got something that fits that bill based on what you see right there on the screen. What are those things? What is something that will help this audience discover, uncover, and recover that which gives life, that which gives vitality? Because that's what we're going to need to create what's next together. So have a wonderful, here in the United States, if you're watching from the US, we're headed into the Independence Day holiday. So I pray that everyone has a good weekend, a safe weekend. As you all know, barbecue is a big part of that holiday. And for those of you that don't know, that means a lot of Americans get out there at our cookouts. And, you know, I like to say barbecue comas ensue, meaning people eat a lot of barbecue. So much so, you know, you better have a football game or ultimate frisbee game to play after, because otherwise you're going to have to roll yourself back to bed. So with that, I will say, for those of you that are celebrating Independence Day, enjoy that. For those of you around the world that may be celebrating other holidays, I wish you well. And if nothing else, I pray that you celebrate your life. I am glad you are here. I am glad that you are in the studio with me, looking for what you can build with, what you can build on, and how we can utilize that to create a bigger, better, grander future, not just for a few of us, but for all of us. In the meantime, take some time this week, enjoy yourself, check out those videos if you can. Give me a shout in the comments. Let me know where you're listening in from, and I will see you soon. Like I said, we're lining up July. So if you've got some hot stuff that you want to share, or you know there's somebody that, man, would really, really ignite this audience, you please hit me up in the chat and I will follow up with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I am looking forward to seeing you soon. Be well. Colleen, excellent to see you. Excellent to see you. Hoping all is well with you and where you are in the world. Thank you all. I'll see you next time. Be well.